Hi everyone!
Hello.
So we thought it was about time that we introduced ourselves properly and talked a little bit about why we're here in Portugal and answer some of the questions that we've been getting.
Things like why we picked Portugal to move to, what the weather's like in the part of Portugal we're in, what our life was like before, and the process of buying our house and getting here. One of the big questions is how much we paid for our house.
Everybody wants to know that, don't they?
Yeah.
So, my name is Dani.
My name's Will. As you probably know, this is Bailey. So it is.
We've been together for, forever, what feels like forever.
Yeah.
12 years.
12 years, married for 4.
Yeah, we got married 4 years ago in Greece. And we've had Bailey, she's about 6 years old. We've had her for 5 years. And she was a little rescue dog.
Rescue dog with a few issues.
Just a few issues, but she is like our baby and comes absolutely everywhere with us. As you've probably seen from the videos, she's never too far away, but I think she's a little bit too warm today.
So we're originally from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Lived there our whole lives basically. Yeah.
We've always liked seeing new places and travelling around a bit, but Belfast has always been our home until now.
So one of the questions, why did we move to Portugal? There was a lot of different factors that ended up leading us here.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a straight decision, we'll move to Portugal. It evolved over time, didn't it?
Definitely evolved over time. So originally we had a house with a mortgage. We're just living a normal life, I suppose, for people that live in the UK or Ireland. And we'd always liked watching Ben Fogel's programmes, like Ben Fogel's New Lives in the Wild.
Yeah, we did.
And we always thought, it would be so nice to live somewhere in the future where we can live more simply, more time for doing the things that we enjoy. We always thought it would be great to have a lifestyle where you're doing something every day that you love. So eventually we were talking about, yes, it would be lovely to have a bigger place where we could have chickens running about and we could grow some of our own food, but we didn't really know how to make that work, and we just thought in the future it would be nice to have this and that. And then we just thought, what are we waiting for, didn't we?
Yeah. And why wait to the future? Why not just do it now?
Yeah. So we put up our house for sale, and originally we were looking to buy something somewhere quite rural in Ireland, maybe somewhere along the west coast. A little bit about what our life was like back at home. We'd both just go to work, live just a pretty normal sort of life.
Working every day, off the weekends.
Yeah. If we had a day off together, we'd make a point of travelling to the coasts. We liked surfing, we liked wild swimming, we'd go to the mountains with Bailey.
Paddleboarding.
Yeah. Always trying to keep active or doing some sort of outdoorsy type activities.
Yeah.
And the whole part of us wanting to change our lives is to have more time to do the things that we enjoy.
And out in our van as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose we always had a project on the go. Although our house at home didn't need any major renovations, we were always working on something in our spare time. So we converted a van ourselves.
Yeah.
And we got quite a few road trips and things in her. And yeah, so anyway, we were looking at moving to a house in Ireland, and we'd been looking for quite a long time actually. Driving quite long distances to a few different houses, but we just couldn't find the right thing.
ended up looking further and further south
Yeah.
in Ireland, and then it got to the stage where we're close to the bottom. Some very nice places throughout, but we thought the distance to get back to our friends and family and stuff, it's not going to be a whole lot different than flying home from Portugal, other than some costs
Yeah.
certain times of the year. So then that started getting us thinking, for growing our own vegetables and the outdoor life that we like, a better climate would suit us a lot better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about Portugal, Portugal really does have everything. Like, probably one of the main reasons we chose here is just like the whole landscapes, the nature, the climate. We're in the north, and the climate, in the summer, it's not as hot as the likes of the south of Portugal. It's so green, it's really mountainous. There's rivers everywhere. We can go swimming in like a million different places.
Yeah.
The beaches are really good for surfing. I mean, everywhere you look, there's, I don't know if it's like a hidden secret, but it just seems like nobody realises how nice it actually is here. But
Yeah, it's very nice.
it's absolutely beautiful. And the climate's perfect. Everything seems to grow here. Like, we look around at our neighbours or people in the nearby area, and you know, you've got citrus, you've got every fruit that you can think of.
Yes.
Even like mangoes, passion fruits, like them sort of tropical fruits, and then vegetables, everything.
Everything plentiful.
Yeah, and there's so much for us to do as well. And the local people are like just amazing.
So friendly and nice, and always have time to speak to you,
Yeah.
even though most of the time you can't understand them and they can't understand you, because we don't speak Portuguese yet. Not fluently anyway.
But everybody's lovely, absolutely lovely, and nobody's in a rush, which we love.
That's why Portugal.
That's why we chose Portugal. I suppose, like, from our point of view, it's quite a bold move to just pack up the life that you've known and move to a different country with no certainties, but life's for living, and it's too short to waste doing something that you don't enjoy every day. I think you're better just, rather than just existing through life and floating through, do something that brings you joy and do something that makes you happy. And for us, this is
This is it.
yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Another question we've been asked is, what experience do you have in home renovations, construction, gardening, and what did we do before as jobs?
Yeah, so I've been a joiner carpenter the past 14 years. Full time, the whole time basically. Only really two main jobs that time, but
He's very good at what he does, but he never lets on.
bit of a perfectionist with certain things. So I am. No real experience when it comes to other trades, as in plumbing, electricity. Always been scared to touch wires in case I get electrocuted. But good to learn new skills along the way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think everything that we've been presented with here, we just kind of see how we go. You tend to think you're quite technically minded, you know, you can
Yeah.
sort of work things out.
I like to have it all thought out in advance, what way things are going to be done, to have it in my head. I don't normally work off drawings or make big plans, but I sort of make it up as I go. I'll have a rough idea of how I'm going to do things.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot from you. I'm
Yeah.
kind of like the assistant. I do what I'm told.
You're the apprentice.
I'm the apprentice. But we've always been quite creative, and we like to do sort of quirky things, you know, in our old house for decorations and things.
Yeah.
And with our van as well.
We have.
It's good to try new things. In terms of gardening, I've I wouldn't say we're very experienced gardeners at all.
No.
We have a little bit of experience.
Bit of experience cutting grass and hedges.
Whenever we were travelling before in Australia, we stayed at a few places where we helped them with the garden in exchange for accommodation. So we learned a little bit from them, but that was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And at home we had a small veggie patch, which wasn't the most successful.
No, we did grow quite a few things in it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Had corn and beetroot, lettuce,
Green beans.
Green beans.
I mean, tomatoes. We had chili plants, but they grew 3 meters tall.
Too big, well, maybe 3 or 4 big chili plants. We got about 5 chilies off them, all combined, so didn't go too good, that one.
The corn.
Corn, we had quite a few big corn plants and they looked really delicious, but
Somebody
I couldn't
has
eat
a
any.
fear. Why couldn't you eat any?
Because there was earwigs in them. Disgusting.
We're not scared of very much, but apparently earwigs is where we draw the line. Well,
Yeah.
or Will draws the line.
Haven't seen any in Portugal yet, which is good. Not looking for them because I don't want to know if they're here.
But centipedes, spiders, all the other giant creepy crawlies don't really bother you, do they?
No, just the old earwigs.
Issues with earwigs. Job wise at home, I went to university and studied hospitality management, and I've experienced working in events, sales, marketing, and for an airline. I currently am working for an airline as well, so we do still have money coming in. In terms of the other question is, how do we plan to make money here? Well, we are still making a bit of money from my job at the moment, and in the future we have an endless amount of ideas about different things that we can do. Maybe some tourism related things.
Possibly, yeah.
Or making things and selling them. Or if we could do something where we're sharing what we're doing here with other people, that would be really great. It's something that we're definitely interested in. So we're not 100% sure what it's going to be, but we will see as we go.
Yeah, see how it turns out.
Yeah, see how things pan out. And I suppose the real thing to consider here is, because of the way we're living, the fact that we're off grid and we're trying to live this more self-sufficient lifestyle, the reality is we don't actually need much money to live, do we really?
No, once we have a lot of the work done in the next probably few years, it'll take us being self-sufficient as much as far as food goes, vegetables, fruits,
even grains and things like
grains, eggs, all them sort of things, will not be needing a lot of money for food.
And at the moment, because our electricity is off grid, our water is off grid, we don't need any fancy TV packages or anything like that. So at the moment, our only bill is actually just for our internet, which is €38 a month. So when you think of it that way, you really don't need much. We don't need to be making much money, and we're quite happy to be able to live this lifestyle without the need. I mean, it is a
simple life.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's definitely a simple life. 100%.
You could earn more money and buy more things,
but you don't need them.
But we don't need them.
And it's not to say that we don't. It's not that we don't want to work, because this is very hard work. And there's an endless amount of things to do around the place. It's physical work, but it's also probably the most rewarding work we've ever done.
Yeah, because everything for us in our land, and we see the progress as we go. It's very rewarding, isn't it?
It's so rewarding. Yeah.
So our next question, how do we find our property? And how many properties previous did we view?
Okay, so we came over in March this year. It's a few properties. We came over for a week and we viewed 7 properties in total. We found all the properties online before coming. We weren't sure if we would have needed a buying agent. It's quite difficult to find information online, but we found most of them online. There's quite a few different websites you can check out. There's one called Green Acres, there's one called Idealista, and there's a couple more. And we ended up just contacting the estate agents that were marketing the properties directly and arranging viewings through them. This specific property that we chose to buy, actually the estate agent found for us. So if you are looking at things, I would recommend talking to the local estate agents about what you're looking for, because we didn't see this one advertised at all online, but the estate agent recommended it to us. And another thing to point out is a lot of the property listings aren't the most, they don't give the best picture of some of the properties. I think personally, I think they could sell them a lot easier if they took some better pictures and had more clear descriptions.
Yeah, until you actually go and see the properties, you don't really know what it's going to be like.
Definitely. So this house, the estate agent had said we couldn't see it until like the last day of our trip, and we didn't hold out much hope because it didn't look like much online. You couldn't see any of the views. It just looked like this thing at the top of a mountain, like full of rocks. It looked really barren, and it's actually the complete opposite. Whenever we came, and we knew whenever we saw it that we loved it before we'd even seen inside the house. The house could have been a complete ruin, and we would have still wanted it, I think.
Yeah. Next question was, what is the process, or what was the process of moving to Portugal?
So we are very lucky. Being from Northern Ireland, we have Irish passports, so we have the right to work and live anywhere within the European Union. So we didn't need any specific visas or anything for moving here. So once we had come to view this house with the lovely estate agents, who were so nice, by the way, and we always ended up having an army of people showing us about the houses, because didn't we?
Yeah.
Because there would have been the estate agent, and then they would have brought maybe a colleague that spoke English with them, and then quite often the owners of the properties would have wanted to come to show you about as well. And it wasn't a quick process. We were viewing this house for 2.5 hours, which is a bit crazy.
Yeah.
So yes, we came to, after viewing this house, we knew we wanted it, and we went back with the estate agents to their office where we put an offer in on the property, and the following week the offer was accepted, and what did we do next? We got a solicitor.
Yep.
I suppose it's quite, when you don't speak Portuguese, it would be very difficult, I think, to do it all without a solicitor and to make sure all the legal stuff is right. So we were quite happy to get a good solicitor that was able to look after all the legal stuff for us and to check all the licenses and check all the documentation of the property, because otherwise we wouldn't have known. We don't speak Portuguese, and
Everything's in Portuguese.
Yeah, and it's not the same as it is back home in terms of different requirements and different registries and things like that. So that's what we did, and there was a few things that needed amended and updated, so we had to wait a little bit for that. So I think it took April, May, and then on the 29th of June we signed the deeds for our property, so about 3 months the whole process took. And at home we just got packed up, and well, I wouldn't say packed up, but we actually sold so much of our things. There's obviously lots of different routes to get to Portugal whenever you're moving with your belongings. Some people ship them out afterwards. We chose the route that we did. Quite a lot of people have said, why did you not just get the ferry to Santander, or Bilbao, which would be a lot quicker, but we were travelling with Bailey and we needed to be there for a certain date, and on the dates that we wanted to travel they didn't have any pet friendly cabins available, and we weren't putting her in a kennel on the ferry, so that's why we
So it wasn't an option.
Yeah, so we did come by road, and we have a separate video on our journey here which I know a lot of you have watched. Yeah, so then we just came here and got the cashier's check from the bank. Our solicitor had set up our bank accounts and stuff for us here, and then we signed the deeds, got the keys. And
Apparently we were the first person to go to a deed signing with a dog, and luckily our estate agent was there. He had to stay outside with our dog while we signed the deeds.
he's so nice, it's very good of him. He just stayed and petted Bailey while we went and signed the deeds. Why did we choose this property?
Well, we chose this property because
It's amazing!
it's amazing. Quite a few different features about it, which was just a lot better than every other one that we did view, wasn't it?
Yeah. Top of the list has to be the view.
Top of the list is the view. Such a good view from lots of different places on the lands, and quite a few different views from your whatever direction you're spacing, really.
It feels quite remote where we live, which is kind of what we were hoping for.
Yeah, very remote and a lot more private. Not that it would matter too much, but a lot of the other properties again had houses overlooking all of the land, whereas this just feels like you're more in the wilderness and on a mountain. And we wanted it before we even seen in the house. We had seen the outside of the house, but we hadn't even been close to it yet.
We were just looking at the land and we
around the land, and just so much opportunities with it, potential.
It's really nice because the land's in terraces, and quite big terraces, especially the ones up at the top here. There's it's in fields, so there's just so much potential in what you can do with it. It was a no-brainer for us.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course the value for money was incredible. It was. We just couldn't believe it, really.
It came with 16 acres.
Yes, that was the next question, actually.
Next question. 16 acres of land. They're about 16 and a half, possibly, but we don't need to worry too much about that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of split as well, so sort of half of it is like fields and terraces, and the other half is complete forest, which is really exciting. And
yeah.
A lot of it remains unexplored still for us, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot still to see and discover.
Do we have any neighbours?
We do have one house of neighbours.
Lovely
that
family.
Are the closest to us. Very nice, very friendly and helpful. So they are. They're not too far away, which is good, having close neighbours.
Yeah. They've been really nice. They helped us find our post box, which sounds really silly, but the post box is about
25 minutes walk to it, and then
down the mountain
and then back up again to get home.
Yeah. We wouldn't have.
We would never have found it, never.
And our car didn't start one day, and they helped us jumpstart that as well.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can return the favour for them at some stage.
Yeah.
They're so lovely, and their little boy is learning English at school, so he's actually acting as our translator, which is really sweet. Which quite nicely brings us on to the next question. Do you speak Portuguese?
No.
It's an absolute no for you.
Absolute no for me. I know a couple of words. Thank you. Things. Probably one word. No more than one. But you'll be able to pick it up a lot more. She already knows more than me.
I've been picking it up actually surprisingly better than what I would have thought, but I think it's because we've been in quite a lot of situations where we've no choice but to speak Portuguese or to attempt to speak Portuguese. So yeah, I know a little bit. I can get by at the market whenever, I know numbers and things like that, and I can order food, and
you can order us coffees and pastel de natas.
Always with the natas. Com canela, that means with cinnamon, which is really nice with them. So I'm really keen to learn Portuguese. I haven't seen any classes local to us to help me learn more, but we'll find some sort of solution. What else do we have? Where do we live?
We live northern Portugal, quite sort of central off whenever you're looking on the map in the north.
Yeah, we're about 50 minutes from the coast,
Yeah.
and our closest town is called Amaranth, which is a really, really beautiful town, and it's about like 20 minutes drive.
About 20 minutes, yeah.
Depending on what route
thereabouts.
you took, you could probably get there in 15 minutes if you were brave enough to go over the mountain roads, but
Not for us yet.
not for us just yet. So we're not too far, although it feels quite remote here, we actually aren't too far from
No.
civilization.
There is smaller towns, not towns, more like wee villages that have wee restaurants and grocery shops and things, which are nice as well.
Yeah,
To have them closer, about
Yeah.
5-10 minutes you can get to some of them.
yeah.
Wee bakeries.
If you were willing to walk a little bit, you could get to a mini market or to a restaurant or cafe, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
What is the weather like in the north of Portugal?
The weather, well, today highs of 42 degrees.
Actually dying, it's
Very
so
warm.
hot.
I think it's the warmest it's been since we've been here.
Whenever we were here viewing the house, our estate agent told us that in August it's very hot, it gets up to like 38 degrees, and we thought he was crazy. We were like, nah, because
It was winter whenever we viewed it, about 12 degrees, maybe 10
yeah,
at the time. We were like, couldn't get that warm.
but so far this sort of second half of August has been the hottest that it's been since we got here. It's been the hottest month of the summer, and we're not quite sure what the winter's going to be like. We'll see as we go. It won't be colder than Ireland anyway.
No, it will get a lot of rain, which is good because we
Good
don't
for the
mind the
soil.
rain. Good for the soil, good for the land.
And we're well used to it. Our neighbours tell us that it gets quite windy here, so once again, we'll see how we go. It is interesting because whenever we were looking at the north of Portugal, we were on the internet to see what the weather averages were. We were looking at Porto, which the locals tell us kind of has its own microclimate, and it tends to be a good maybe 10 degrees cooler in Porto than what it is here
It
up in the
is.
mountains. And I suppose that brings us on to everybody's favourite question, which is how much did we pay for our property and land here? And I think you'll probably be shocked because we still feel like we've conned somebody, even though we definitely haven't. But
Very good bargain, we think. Wasn't it?
yeah, so we paid €75,000, and that's including the government taxes and fees and the fee for our solicitor as well. So
So that's everything, all
yeah,
included, which is we thought was very good compared with other properties that we looked around the area for what you get for your money. We
yeah.
thought it was excellent and hard to resist. So we did buy it.
We did buy it, and it's amazing because we were able to do that without a mortgage, and that's just something that we never ever thought that we would be able to do as well.
No.
It's just we made a little bit of money on our last house from selling it 4 years later. We've done a little bit of work to it, so it's unreal. We
Yeah.
can't believe it. Bailey, come here. Come here. Somebody's been in the pond. Mucky dog.
Thinking.
You are so mucky.
We left her up here.
You're nice and cold though. Cold is enough. Another question to answer is, what are our projects going forward in the short, medium and long term? So first of all, short term, what sort of things are we working on next?
Short term, one of the main things short term will be our kitchen roof, external part of it to start with. Needs replaced, all the timbers refitted with the tiles. We're going to reuse all them. but our plan is to get it fully waterproof before the winter, and then that will be the whole house waterproof because there is quite a few leaks at the minute. That is the most short term for the house. Maybe a wee bit more wiring, and then outside of the house,
Windows for the house.
Windows for the house. We're gonna upcycle them, sort of. Thicker panes of glass and retreat them, sand them. They are steel. Retreat them for rust. Paint them a nice colour. Possibly shutters, but that might be long term. Around the land, we will be building compost heaps or bins, compost bins, something to that idea, to get ready for planting in the future, and possibly clean out our pond, a lot of overgrownness, and just tidying up the areas on our land that we have been able to reach so far, trimming back paths, collecting sticks off the ground, various
Just tidying up.
Tidying up and organising.
It's trying to get the balance right between working on the house and working on the land.
Yep.
But with the land, by next spring we want to be in a position where we're making raised beds, we're planting trees, we're really starting to get a good start on growing our own food.
Yeah.
So that is one of our main goals here, isn't it?
It is. So that is most of our short-term plans. Some of them maybe might not be so short, but for a master plan or the long-term goal is sort of the last main question.
Yeah, like what's our grant master plan?
You gonna talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so it's quite hard to explain the vision that we have for the place, but we want to work towards living a life that is as self-sufficient as possible, and I am so dirty. So yes, we want to be as self-sufficient as possible in terms of growing our own food. Want to have a workshop where anything that we need we can make ourselves, and the way that we would do it, we want to work with nature, not against it, and sort of create our own little ecosystem here where everything's working together and everything has a purpose. I think that's probably the sort of best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Like less waste, better for the environment. Everything that we do won't be destructive. We don't want to wipe out forests and clear down trees. We want to promote the biodiversity that comes with it, and just have our own little paradise here, where sort of like a mini farm that allows us to live off it. That's kind of the vision, isn't it?
Yeah. Just recycling everything.
Yeah.
Any waste will be something new for something else.
Finding new.
As compost as an example.
Yeah.
But everything, chopper.
Everything working in
unison.
Yeah. In terms of growing, want to follow the principles of permaculture, and we're just so excited about what we can create here, aren't we?
Yeah. So much potential.
So here I am, covered in muck, as we tend to be every day.
Yeah.
But that's part of the fun. It really doesn't bother us at all. We are completely overwhelmed by the amount of people that have been watching our videos. Like, we know it's not a lot maybe compared to some other channels and things, but for us, we thought it would just be family and friends, and now it feels like we're building a little community of people that are interested in doing similar things to what we're interested in.
Yep.
And it's just fantastic to share it with other people. And in the future, as we develop more, if there is ever the opportunity to share what we're doing with people, then we certainly will welcome it. And yeah, we plan to keep the videos up for now anyway.
Yeah.
And
see how we go.
The future isn't fixed, but that's part of the fun.
I'm the clean one. These are the dirty ones.
Oops. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Keep living your life. That's what we're going to do.
Yep. Enjoy.
See you soon.
Bye. Dirty dog.